Car Obsession is proudly supported by Carly and Draggy. Check out the video description to find out the latest discount codes.
Hello guys and welcome back to Car Obsession. Now, as many of you may know, I'm a massive fan of hot hatches, but I'm afraid I have a secret. I've never driven a Volkswagen Golf R until now, but this isn't just any Golf R. This is the 20 years edition, otherwise known as the R20 for short. So will my first time in a Golf R be positive, or will I think it's overrated? Well, let's find out. Speaking of 20, I've only got this car for about 20 minutes, so this is very much my first impressions. Okie dokie, my first proper drive in a Golf R. I've driven one or two before, but that's been short drives and they've been customer cars at my place of work, so not really the same thing. Right, okie dokie. So of course, this is the R20, 20 years of the Golf R. So you've gone from the original R32, which of course had a 3.2 litre V6. Now, of course, to keep polar bears and Greta Thunberg happy, the engine has been downsized over the last few years. Well, for quite some years, in fact. So under the body, you have the very familiar, equally iconic EA888 2 litre 4-pot. But the boffins at the Volkswagen R division have been getting a bit more power. They've poked it with a stick, got it angry, and yes, we now have 333 horsepower, but torque remains the same, which is 420 Newton meters. Now, helping to give the extra oomph, you've got tweaks to the turbocharger and the throttle body, and I believe this has some kind of mild anti-lag system. Right, this is a first drive, so ooh. Yeah, that's good. Of course, made to do it to a DSG. You can't get these in a manual, which is a pity, but DSG is faster. Now, this will get to 62 miles per hour, only 0.1 seconds faster than a standard Golf R. So this will do it in 4.6, I believe. Now, this has the performance pack, which on a standard Golf R would normally be, I believe, a £2,000 option. Now, as part of that, we get a higher top speed. It's now 168 miles per hour, which in a Golf seems ludicrous. Okay, a bit more understeer than I was expecting through there. Of course, this is a heavier car. It's 4-wheel drive. The ride is pretty good though. Also, as part of the performance pack, you have 2 additional driving modes. You have drift, which we're not going to use here as much as I'd like to. I think I'd be told off by the lovely people at the Millbrook Proving Ground. And you have the Nurburgring mode, which I believe I have it in now. Speaking of the Nurburgring, this is the fastest production Golf around the Green Hell, and it did it in 7 minutes 47, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the most powerful production Golf to date, which makes sense. Now, if you compare this to an R32, all the way back when, well, all the way back in the early noughties, this has, I believe, 100 more horsepower and almost 100 more Newton meters of torque. Of course, it's got a faster top speed and it's faster to 62 miles per hour. Right. Now, as you would expect, the traction is mental. This sticks to the road like you know what, to a bed sheet. The steering has got a nice weight to it. Maybe want a bit more feedback, but I'm being really picky. The performance is absolutely fantastic. Very strong, very punchy. Of course, you've got the the flappy paddles on the steering wheel if you want to take control of the DSG yourself. The trademark DSG farts, although I doubt Volkswagen would like them being called that. Woohoo! Yes, I know, that's the autonomous emergency braking, thinking that we're about to crash into that Hyundai, which we're not. So, there are a few fun facts about this car. If you so desire, you can have the wheels finished in blue, which I think look awful. Sorry Volkswagen, but that's my honest opinion. You do get blue accents on the car as standard. You get a little 20 badge on the B pillar. As mentioned, you get the performance pack as standard, but I do have a few gripes already. For starters, this car has got the Akrapovic exhaust, which sounds gorgeous. That isn't standard, nor is the DCC, the dynamic chassis control. If you don't know what that is, well, to put it into simple terms, adaptive dampers. Now, I must confess, I don't know whether this car has that as an option. I would argue yes, because I would be very surprised if Volkswagen hadn't loaded one of their press cars with that feature, particularly as we've got the Akrapovic Exhaust, which let's just enjoy it for a few moments. That's brisk. Yeah, that is very, very brisk. The seats are nice and comfortable. I would maybe like to be sat a little bit lower, but to be honest, I have just jumped out of a GR86, so that's probably an unfair thing to say. The seats are very comfortable. The bolstering is actually a bit more supportive than I was expecting, because this is, of course, a performance hot hatch, but it's not quite, I wouldn't say it's quite as track prepared as other hot hatches you can buy. But even so, I'm pleasantly surprised by the side bolsters. I didn't think they would hold you in place quite this much. They're actually really good. Their seats are, yeah, very, very good indeed. Another fun fact for this car, this is the first Golf to feature real, yes, real carbon fibre in the interior. So you get it on the dash and on the door cards, that is the real McCoy. No fake stuff here. None of this Halfords specials that you see in some other hot hatches. Now this is a good car, very good in fact, but it's not quite hitting the fun factor that other hot hatches do. Perhaps that's the presence of the four-wheel drive system, or the fact that it's a pretty straight-laced, sensible Golf, even though this has got more poke and more performance. It is also probably because I'm missing a sticky-like thing to my left-hand side, a manual gearbox. As I mentioned, yes, this is DSG only, and always will be, which is a pity. Yes, I know the DSG is faster, it's more efficient, blah, 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 but I'm missing that boom, boom. My left hand is somewhat redundant, apart from just helping out with the steering wheel. I want to be doing something. My left leg is seizing up because it's just cramping. It's got nothing to do. So I would love to have that manual change, but it is what it is. Now, I will be honest, I do think this car is, I'm not going to say a gimmick, that would be rude, but I've got traffic in front of me. I can't, unfortunately, you get so little time with the car, and it's a lottery. Sometimes you've got a clear run in front of you, sometimes you haven't. So I haven't quite driven this car as dynamically as I would have wanted. But yeah, this car, give or take, I think is about £5 more than the standard car. And let's face it, the standard car is not a cheap item. And I just think for the extra you're getting, is it really worth it? No, I think if you're watching this and you own a standard Golf R, don't be disappointed that you didn't quite have the extra money for this car, or perhaps you couldn't quite wait for it, because I think if you drove both cars back to back, I don't think you'd be missing much. Okay, Volkswagen say that they've recalibrated the DSG and they've done a few mechanical tweaks to the car, but I think really and truly, if you drove both cars back to back, particularly in real world conditions, I don't think you'd really notice a massive difference. Now, there may be some people that have driven both cars and go, Aaron, you're talking absolute codswallop, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, that's merely my opinion. I have enjoyed my time in this car, though I haven't really been able to drive it as I would have intended because of cars in front of me, and overtaking opportunities are somewhat slim. It's good to finally say I've driven a Golf R. I'm not going to say I'm underwhelmed, because that would be rude. It's the thing is, Golf R, it's well known for not being quite as fun as other hot hatches. But it would be interesting to drive a brand new GTI to see how that compares. One thing I can't argue with though, woo, is the performance. Now I've just realised I've got crisp pocket rockets in the passenger seat. for those first 2 laps, I don't think I had the car in Nurburgring. I think it was just in sport, but now we do have the Nurburgring feature in play, and it has transformed it. Oh. It's almost as if someone's gone, no, let's turn this car up to 11. Oh. Now this is more like it. Oh yes. Woo. Now we are moving. Plenty of grip, as you would expect from the 4-wheel drive system. Brakes feel positive, not the bitiest brakes I've ever experienced in a hot hatch, but they're doing a pretty decent job. A few little pops from the exhaust. Now, I was really hoping for a clear run. Yeah, I would want the brakes to be a little bit more crisp. I wouldn't say they feel spongy, but they just feel a tad soft. And when you've got this much power under your right foot, yeah, Volkswagen, better brakes, I'd say. They're not bad, but room for improvement. That exhaust though, although I may be mistaken, I think that Akrapovic exhaust as an optional extra, which it is in this car, it's a lot of money. I want to say it's 3,500, but I'm doubting myself because that seems like a lot of money, but it's not a cheap option. It really isn't. Mind you, oh, worth every penny. Oh, we're making popcorn at the back. We're making popcorn. Either that or a war's broken out. I'm not too sure which. Can't see anything in my rear view mirrors, but we're good. So yes, oh, a little encore from Akrapovic. So yeah, a little bit disappointing in the shape that I couldn't quite gun it as I was hoping to. Although this is a private road, we are still deemed by speed limit. Oh, got a sneeze coming. Nope. Yeah, in Nurburgring it transforms the car. So if you're looking at this and you want to buy a standard Golf R, make sure you get the performance pack. And if you can really stretch to it, get the Akrapovic as well, because come on, no pops and bangs that time. For many, this will be all the performance car you'll ever need, and I can see why. It's practical, it's, oh, thank you, it's subtle, it's well kitted out, it's refined, it ticks so many boxes. It is a fantastic all-rounder, but you don't need me to tell you that, do you? So there we go, first time driving a Golf R. Not the most fun I've had in a hot hatch, but with that sound and with it in the Nurburgring mode, yeah, impressive stuff. Anyway, I need to let Pocket Rockets, my good friend, have a drive in the car. He's been sat patiently waiting. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession. Right, quick, go.